Rain. It's thundering really loud. It's 8 o'clock. I just found out that the Akaicon Artist Alley opened at 8 5 minutes ago via their Facebook because someone finally responded to one of my messages despite trying to contact them for a week. So I'm in a super good mood right now. I will check in with you guys later. This is it, the Millennium Maxwell House Hotel. We finished setting up. Alright guys, so I finally finished setting up. I got here at 8. I was told that the AA would be open and there'd be somebody to help out with it at 8, and I ended up waiting an hour and some change before someone could show me where my table was because the tables weren't marked anymore and we didn't want to just assume. And we do indeed have those 6 by 6 foot spaces, so we pushed our table in and we brought the 4 foot, and I think it actually works out really nice. It kind of gives like a shop appearance, and we even have room for the print rack. So you guys probably know I really enjoy unusual table layouts, so this should be fun. Even if it was just fun for the challenge of setting up a different kind of table layout. So I'll check in with you guys later and let you know how Friday of Akaicon went. It opens at 12 and it closes at 6. So it's got some of the kindest alley hours in terms of like artists being able to get enough sleep and artists having time to eat, stuff like that. I don't know if that's going to affect sales, but we'll find out. Good morning. It is day 2 of Akaicon and it's about 18 minutes shy of 10 with the alley opening at 10 this morning. So we rolled in here. We probably left around 9:15, which is fairly reasonable. And since this is a locked alley, it's a shared dealer's room slash artist alley. Since this is a locked room, we were able to leave our setup up so we really could just walk in and be here instead of like getting here early and spending an hour setting up. So I will check in with you guys with a recap at the end of the day.
I mean, you can't do, you get like an entree, 2 sides, and a fucking large tea for $5.46. Or if you want a shake, it's like $6.
I had to deal with this being crowd street, whatever. I had a friend take me stuff last night.
Yes. The other side, it's on this side.
I'm like the dad from like Everybody Hates Chris. If I spend more than what I need to.
Hi guys, so this is Saturday, day 2 at Akaicon. Earlier I showed you guys some footage of the show before the alley had opened, and now I'm going to check in. So usually Saturdays at cons are the big days. It's the day you make the most money. It's been fairly slow. Would you mind just sort of showing our row? We're in the very back, so it doesn't seem like the crowd is making it all the way to here. The middle, although the middle is pretty empty right now as well. It did seem like for the most part during the day it was getting more foot traffic in the back. And they have some like vendors back here. There's an eat-a-bag seller, there's 2 t-shirt vendors, there's a seamstress, and then there's a plushie vendor. So there are bigger vendors back here to help draw people over, but most of their displays are fairly low, so there isn't anything necessarily visible from the entrance that would really catch your attention. The Akaicon Alley is a fairly small alley. This is a combined dealer's room and artist alley. And there is nothing to really differentiate the dealers from the artists. They're just kind of mixed in. And the show began at 10 this morning and will close at 6 tonight, and then they're going to lock up the room. And it seems like they do actually lock up the room, which is really nice. I did Akaicon long, and they didn't lock up the room, and I had stuff stolen. So if you're in a mixed room like this, the fact that they're going to lock the doors at night is usually, you know, something to help alleviate concerns. So like I said, it's been a pretty slow day. Most of my sales have been commissions. Here would be an example of one. I think it turned out pretty cute. I also streamed one of my fun commissions today, and some of you guys might have been here to see it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. If not, you can check out the video here on the channel. I'm going to try to stream commissions more often, especially at MTAC next year if I get in, knock on wood. Anyway, that's pretty much my day 2 at Akaicon. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Was something else,
Hey guys, good morning. It is Sunday, the third and final day of Akaicon, and you are here behind my table in the Fabulous Artist Alley. My patrons have had early access to these recaps, and everyone will have access to these recaps after the show. At least that's the plan. So I hope sales go well today, and if you're seeing this and you're in the Nashville area, I hope you'll swing by, especially if you enjoy my art, and come pick something up. So I will see you guys later with a finished, fuller recap of Akaicon. Decent picture. Man, best $2.50. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Probably not going to talk much. Just going to walk around the alley, try to look at people in cosplay. Excuse me. This is Becca's table. I'm sure you guys have seen pictures, but we'll do a quick pan of it. Hey, I didn't ask you to wave.
I thought you said you weren't going to talk much. Sure, sassy for somebody who wasn't going to talk much. Do you know which ones I was looking for?
All right, now let's check out everything else. Get away from this boring table.
With other people's tables, you should either ask them.
I'm not going to focus on anyone's table.
Yeah, it's my, I actually broke mine 2 days before the show, because I was doing choreography and flow and shit. My friend let me borrow his, so it's really cool.
Could have zoomed all the way out.
Molly, take your. If you feed him.
But that is about it.
I think they're probably They don't have Pokemon Stadium 2, and I'm real upset.
Someone is explaining what hentai is.
Have a safe drive. Yeah, you too.
Hey guys, do I need to put it up? Hey guys, this is my Akaicon final recap. I'm sorry if I look terrible. I was sick all last week, and the cold and damp of Akaicon's Artist Alley made me a lot sicker. So I don't know if you guys watched the other 3 recap videos as they were released, but I tried to do check-ins every single day. Unfortunately, on days 2 and 3, it was a little hard. Well, 1 and 3, it was a little harder for me because the Artist Alley ended at 3 on Sunday, which is like the earliest Artist Alley ending I've ever. Right. And I had a commission that I was working on until 10 minutes before, and then we started packing up because literally everyone else around us had already been packing up for an hour. So I made like 614, or I sold, I didn't make, I sold $614 dollars worth of stuff, most of which was commissions and 1 original piece of art. Little things really didn't sell well this year, and I was at the very back of the alley, and there seemed to be a congestion problem where people would get to like the middle of the alley, and it was a tiny alley, and then be like, okay, that's it, and they wouldn't make it to the back row, which keeps happening to me at cons. And it's rough because you don't get to control your placement. So overall about Akaicon, horrible communication issues with the Artist Alley staff. This is the 2nd year there's been no real communication with Artist Alley staff. That is intensely frustrating. I know you guys are volunteers. I know you guys are busy. I know you guys have lives. The artists have lives too. We're paying to be here. Maybe you're not seeing that money, but we did pay for those tables. At least tell us what the hours are. There was no official release of any sort of information. All the artists were on a different page. It seemed like the alley changed hands a couple times. We could not find the official AA head. Okay, so before the show, the AA head was Mark. Didn't confirm when we paid for our tables, never sent our information, didn't respond to emails. I know you're busy. I'm busy too. Everyone's busy. You had like from January until August to send that information out. So there's not really a good excuse for that. And I'm sorry if I'm coming down as harsh, but this is a problem and it needs to be addressed. And there are artists who have already said that they're willing to help out, to act as liaisons. So to me, it's kind of inexcusable at this point. So we didn't know what our alley hours were. We didn't know when setup was. Some artists came and set up on Thursday night. Apparently that was only supposed to be for dealers. Some artists set up Friday morning. We didn't know what time setup was. I had to get really naggy on like 3 different social medias to get an answer, and it wasn't even Artist Alley staff who answered it. And he said be there at 8. I had to wait an hour in the lobby before somebody could tell us where our tables were because they were marked the night before, but people had stolen other people's tables to make their setups bigger. So instead of like, I don't know, telling them you can't do that or making them replace the tables, they just removed our table markers and we're gonna handle it the next morning. And I appreciate that they're trying to keep everybody happy, but when you do stuff like that, it's like you're playing favorites or something, you know? And I know that's probably not the case, but that's how it comes across. So we had to wait an hour before someone who knew where the table placements were could be brought down. So from 8 to 9, just hanging out with all our stuff in the lobby as it's getting crowded. So setup went on from then until 12. The alley didn't officially open until 12, which was fine. And Joseph stuck around to help me get the grids and stuff up, and then he went on to work. And I was there just kind of chilling from like 11 to 12. Again, which is fine. But that alley was so cold and so damp because it was really humid that weekend, and I'm still getting over that cough that I can't afford to go see a doctor for. So it's actually made me relapse sitting in that freezing alley all day. And I also have early onset arthritis in my right hand because I'm an illustrator. That happens, y'all. All of you cute, genki little 14-year-olds who are spending 8 hours a day like crushing your pencil or your stylus in your hands, I am your future, so please be more careful with how you handle your pencils, because in the alley, as cold as it was, I had to quit drawing by 4 because my hand couldn't take it anymore, and it was like a claw. So I want you guys to have more longevity. I'm working on improving my longevity, but cold, uncontrollable environmental situations like that are a problem, and they're a problem for other artists. Literally every artist and vendor that I could see had a blanket wrapped around them, except that attendees were complaining about how hot it was. So, I mean, you've got to catch 22. You've got your attendees who paid to be there, or you've got your artists who paid more to be there and who are stuck in the alley. So yeah. Zero communication, no official alley hours posted anywhere, not on their Facebook, not on their Twitter. Oh, and they're non-responsive on their Twitter. Not on the website, not on the pamphlet that they printed out. There was no alley map sent out ahead of time, and that's because they gave us 6 foot by 6 foot spaces, which ended up really being really cool. I brought that little 4 foot side table, and I inset my 6 foot table, so it kind of created like a little store, which was really neat. So that was fun to get to play around with, but that was why they didn't have a map, is they weren't sure how that was going to go down. So Akaicon is in its 5th year, and it's still having those kind of problems, and those were some of the complaints that I had last year, and those were some of the complaints that I had the first year. So I know they're trying to resolve their staffing issues in that regard, and it seems like Victoria came around. She was also Artist Alley staff and Dealer's Room staff, and she introduced herself, and she seemed super sweet, and she introduced the 2 dudes who were working security for her, and I did see them around, and I did hear her voice throughout the alley, so that's nice. There's been other shows where for love or money you can't find Artist Alley staff. It doesn't matter what's going down, you can't find the staff. So it's really nice that she did that, but it's like, where was she in the months before the con? Did they switch like who's in charge of the alley? Another problem with Akaicon is the smaller of the 2 anime cons in Nashville, and it's in August, so it's right when people are spending all their money to afford back to school supplies, right? So, and MTAC is in at Easter weekend, so a lot of those kids have been given like treat money to spend at MTAC, so you can make a lot more money at MTAC, whereas at Akaicon a lot of that money is like they just don't have it. I got a lot of people who they'd spent all their money on their cosplay and they just didn't have any money for Akai, and that was something I'd noticed last year. So why did I do it again if it keeps having these problems? Well, and I mentioned this in my AX recap that was a backer exclusive. Cons are down 30% across the board. So I have to work even harder to try and make money. Plus, more and more artists are trying to get into cons. So I'm trying to take advantage of every opportunity that I can. There was a lot of things I did enjoy about Akaicon. I come down, I'm being so condemning of the lack of communication in the staff, because that is a very, very fixable problem. It would have taken one email to fix that problem, and that email didn't happen. So that's why I'm being so harsh, because it is a problem I mentioned to them before. It is a known issue. I'm not the only artist who has contacted them about that, and I'm sure they take it seriously. They've been receptive to my criticism and advice in the past, so I'm really hoping that they will find someone who can be communicative with the artists and the vendors ahead of time. So I personally feel like 160 is high for an Artist Alley table, given the size of Akaicon and given the sales. It was like a third of my sales was the table cost, because there's just not enough foot traffic at Akaicon. It hasn't grown big enough yet for those numbers. So in my personal opinion, I still feel like it's a $125 table. But like I said, I am reliant on this income, so I can't be overly picky, but that is also a suggestion. I did like the larger spaces that they offered this year. I hated the fact that we played musical chairs with tables Friday morning. That is not an encouraging thing. And I was disappointed that they didn't manage to bring in more people this year. I also didn't get as many people who were like excited about the voice actors this year. Like last year, that's all anybody could talk about. But this year, I really didn't hear anybody talking about it. And a lot of the attendees who came by told me they were really bored and that there really wasn't enough to do and that they were just killing time. And so I didn't get a chance to check out any of the other programming. It does seem like Akaicon is offering some industry programming. I saw that there was like a manga studio panel, and there was a branding panel, and I don't know if that's like branding for cosplayers or branding for artists or what, because I didn't get to attend. But it does seem like Akaicon is trying to offer more industry panels, but I have a feeling that they're not reaching out to people, it's people reaching in. And I don't know if the people who are complaining about being bored just didn't care about that, or it was just a bad time for them. And I don't really, because I'm not someone who attends panels so much anymore, other than say like meet and greets or sketchbook swaps. I don't really have any advice for that. I don't know that I would attend an anime con for 3 days anymore. You know, it's not that I'm not into anime, because I still really am. I just got into Boku no Hero Academia like this week, which I know super late to the boat, and Haikyuu, yeah, really late there, right? But so I am still into anime, and I'm definitely really still into manga, but there's just not a lot for older fans at anime cons. So like I don't know that I have any paneling suggestions for that. Oh gee whiz. At least they turned on the chandeliers. That improved the lighting, but I put a yellow cast on everything, and that gives me migraines, but it doesn't seem to affect other artists, so I think that's a personal thing. And I've been sort of taking my own steps to fix that. I bought a music light recently, and that actually really helps. So it's white LED, and I can cast that on my commission paper, and it helps with my eye fatigue. And it was like $7, so it was money well spent. But yeah, mostly commissions sold. I sold a lot of my $25 2-color marker commissions, which I love those, and I love how those turned out. I'm really pleased with them. So I didn't sell as many commissions, but I sold nicer commissions for at cons, which was great. There was a time period where all that sold were like little dinky $5 commissions, which were eating me alive, and $10 commissions, which were taking a really long time. So it's really nice that some of the nicer commissions are selling, and I don't have to like kill myself to make ends meet. And then I sold a couple originals, which is always super nice. I didn't sell any copies of Kara, but you know, it's like what? It's in its 3rd year of Volume 1, and I'm like more than halfway done with Volume 2, so I'm not super concerned about that. So I did try a couple of new things. I don't know if you guys who are watching this video were aware, but I ended up streaming my commissions on Saturday and Sunday, and I had a blast doing it. It was so much fun. And Akaicon had these like really long dry spells where there was just nobody around, at least in our back row. So doing the streams really helped keep me engaged and helped keep me entertained, and it allowed me to connect with people who were not at the show, which was really cool, and I enjoyed that. But I also have the luxury of having 2 devices that have their own SD cards. They have their own like cell phone plans. So if you know, I could look up reference on my tablet and run Square transactions while I stream from my phone. So that's something to keep in mind. And a lot of artists were complaining that they couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi, and Joseph couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi on his laptop. So like I don't count on cons to provide me with Wi-Fi, because you know, I've been in shows where the con had paid for the artist to have Wi-Fi, and then the hotel put up repeaters, or I'm sorry, blocker things, which is totally illegal. But you know, right, so you can't count on that, so I just provide my own. And I had no problems with running Square transactions, and I had no cellular problems. our ballroom was on the first floor. It was on the promenade. It was all the way at the end of the hall. So you have like 4 event halls and then the artist alley and dealer's room. And I'm glad the AA and dealer's room were in the same room, because I don't think people would have gone all the way down past the dealer's room to go to the artist alley. And the first year I did Akaicon, I just attended to check it out. It was, the AA was in like a room the size of a shoebox. And the DR had its own ballroom. So I am glad that they are together. So at AX, the AX recap, I kept talking about how it was an Eat a Bag con. Across from me was were 2 Eat a Bag vendors, and they were pretty rude, honestly. They were smack talking during setup. They were smack talking this girl who worked for them who wasn't there like the entire time at the tops of their voices. So class act there. And I'm class act for talking about it. But like, I'm just mentioning that like when you're smack talking someone in the artist alley, other people can hear you, and that can leave a bad taste in other people's mouths. And I'm sure they're vendors, so I'm sure they don't care what an artist thinks, but an artist is going to care what another artist thinks. So that's just a head up, especially in a small room like that. But my point was, like, I think they sold like 2 Eat a Bags the entire show. Now, to be fair, those were the Eat a Bags I saw on AliExpress when I was looking to buy a sample Eat a Bag, which still hasn't come in. I wanted it to be in for Akai, but it's not. So they were not as nice as the Eat a Bags I saw at AX, and I don't know what they were charging for them exactly. I kept hearing like $40. And those are not $40 bags in my opinion, but that's my opinion. So that could definitely be why, but it seems like the whole Eat a Bag thing has not yet made it over to the East Coast. And I figured it would have by now, because you have the internet and you have Tumblr, and like the dissemination of ideas is much quicker now than it was when I was a teenager, but apparently not. So maybe it's okay that my Eat a Bag hasn't come in yet, and maybe what it's in for MTAC, you know, that'll be the right time, the right place. But I was really hoping it would come in so I could put like a lot of my little cute aesthetic feeling things in there, and people might feel inspired by that. But that's okay. And a lot of those smaller things did not sell at this show, which is weird because like 2 years ago, I couldn't keep it in stock. It moved so fast. It was the bulk of my sales for a while. So, but no, people wanted commissions, which was totally cool. I love doing commissions. I love drawing OCs. I got to draw a lot of Boku no Hero Academia, which was awesome because I'm just getting into that show. And I have strong feels for Deku and Levitation Wife. So, you know, it's always really cool to get commissioned to draw stuff you like. So I really enjoyed that. And then I got to do a really, really fun commission on Saturday. It was a big sketchbook commission that I did in purple and pink and black. And it turned out awesome. And if you guys want to check out what my commissions look like, you can head on over to my Instagram at instagram.com/natosoup. And I don't usually advertise this because like literally everyone is shilling for commissions, but I do take commissions year round, and I send you the physical original because I work traditionally, and I am kind of disgusted by how many artists I have paid who never send the original. And it's like, but you were working traditionally and I paid you. You know, I thought, you know, we're both artists. I thought I'd get the original piece, but I send the originals because that's important to me, because I clearly have a hoard and I have a nest, a dragon's nest of cool art. And so like, it's important to me that I get the originals when I pay for an original media commission. And it's important to me that you get your originals too. So I do take those commissions. If you've seen my stuff or you've seen my stuff at cons and you've somehow missed out on your chance, I do take commissions. I'm still working on filling I have like 2 MTAC commissions. I know, I'm sorry. 2 of those, Free Comic Book Day, 2 A2 CAFs, and 2 AXs. I had like 30 MTAC commissions because Joseph was taking commissions for me, and then I was taking commissions for me, and it ended up getting to be a really long list. But so I am still working on those, and I will do like a video and an announcement when I'm officially open for commissions. And I also have like a friend's wedding invitation that I promised I would do for free. Things keep coming up, unfortunately. But I'm still working on that. So if you're watching this and you're one of my MTAC kids and you're like, where's my commission? There should only be 2 of you who haven't gotten your commissions. Oh, two of you who haven't heard from me about your commissions is a better thing, because there's a family that prepaid for one and then they never sent me the reference, and I already emailed them a couple times. I need to email them again, because I don't like when those things go unfulfilled. It makes me upset. You know, I want to make people happy. So anyway, Akaicon, $600, but it's local to me. I ate McDonald's on Saturday. I had Smoothie King for lunch on Sunday. I didn't eat on Friday. So super low costs. I slept at home. I drove my Jetta. It was less than a tank of gas. So like, yeah, I'll do Akaicon again next year. I really hope that the Artist Alley communication problems get solved. But you know, when you do the math, like, I might make more in profit from Akaicon than I did for cons that I would travel a long distance for. Like, I certainly made more than I made at AX. AX was terrible for me. But like, I might take home more than I used to do at MechaCon. So that's something to keep in mind, is like, sometimes the bigger cons are not kind to your budget, and they're not kind to you, and you might be making more money, but you're spending more money. So I'm going to keep doing Akaicon. Would I recommend you travel for Akaicon? No. I mean, there's a lot of artists in the Nashville area to begin with, so it's not like they have like a dearth of people who want a table, but you're probably not going to make enough money to make it worth your 4-hour travel, your 6-hour travel, your 8-hour travel, or your flight. So it is not necessarily any bigger than any of the small shows in your area that you're already doing, or that you don't think are worth your time necessarily. Because that's another thing I noticed, is that like, people will travel based on my Conrex and then be like, well, it wasn't what I thought. And it's like, you have your own shows in your own local area that aren't good enough for you. Why are you traveling for this show? You don't care about the area. You don't care about the people. Just because I'm from there and I had nice things to say about the show doesn't mean you should spend $1,000 to get there. So I'm just trying to like couch expectations that, you know, Akaicon is not that big of a show. It is growing. I believe it's first come, first serve, but I may have sent them my portfolio link and then was told that I could pay. I don't actually remember. It was a while back. I actually paid and ordered my stuff in January, so it's been several months. And I could only pay through PayPal, which is always kind of like, because I don't always have money in PayPal. So I'd also like to see them offer, if feasible, I don't know. I mean, I know you can set up your credit card to PayPal. Why am I back up? I just don't like paying through PayPal. So it'd be cool if they set up like a Square or something else, but that's probably not an option. Or you can mail a check, would be cool. But then again, when I'm in shows where you can only pay by check, I hate that too. So I just want options. I'm just greedy. Anyway, that is my super long Akaicon recap. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as you can enjoy it. I hope you found it helpful. If you want to see some of my Akaicon prep, I actually recorded my process on that every single day the week before when I was super sick and I sounded like a frog. And you guys can check that out as well. I will probably continue doing commission streams from behind the table because it is fun and easy, or moderately easy, and it doesn't cost me any extra money and hardly any extra work, so that's always cool to do. And I will keep on doing these video recaps because it is a heck of a lot easier than those written posts I used to do for how to be a con artist for like 5 years. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you again really soon. If you are not subscribed, consider subscribing. Not only do I do con recaps, but I do art tutorials and I do a lot of traditional media stuff. So if that's something you think is cool, make sure you subscribe for that. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and hanging out with me this weekend. And if you came and visited, thank you so much, because your support really means a lot. And I tend to work in a vacuum, a Dragon's Den vacuum, and I forget that my work sometimes actually does mean something to other people and it helps other people. So thank you for coming by and saying kind words at me and being awesome. So I'll see you guys again soon-ish, maybe. Bye!